Oops. Yeah, we're getting close anyways. I can start. So, I know normally, oh, well, we're gonna go into video game. We're gonna do video game thing. Oh, we'll play some Minecraft for like half an hour. And that was the plan, you know, as always, just go into video game, talk video game stuff for a little bit, then talk about the show notes for the day, the news, then what I've been doing. But I've had such a busy week, and I was in the middle of taking the show notes. Because I watched this, right? I just watched the Splatoon Direct when I got off work. Because, of course, it was like, it happened at what, like 6 a.m.? And yeah, I was not waking up for that. And then when I woke up, I was like, oh, it's time to go to work. So when I got back that day, I watched it. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, oh, you know, I'll get around to taking show notes later in the week. And I did. And I was doing that like an hour ago. I was taking show notes. And then I was like 8 minutes into the show. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just actually watch the Direct. So we're going to watch the Direct today. We're also going to just watch the Kirby Dream Buffet thing, because why not? And then we're probably just going to boot up Fall Guys for like, I don't know, maybe like half an hour. Because those are our only two news stories tonight. Freaking Splatoon and Kirby. I looked through the other things that happened this week. Nothing I cared about. Like, oh, we got some new information on this game. Oh, new information on a THQ Nordic stuff. Harry Potter has been delayed. Fuck Harry Potter. Fuck that turf J.K. Rowling. Marvel Midnight Suns got delayed. Okay, whatever. You know, I'll play it when I play it. So, yeah, it was just like, there was news this week, but nothing I really cared about. Other than Splatoon and, I guess, kind of Kirby. If I'm going to mention one of these things, I'm going to mention Kirby. So, yeah. We're going to do that. And then I've got, like, 3 things with WIBE. Not much. I have not played anything. I've watched one. I read a book. I did read a book, and instead of, like, playing a game, I binged that, and we will talk about that. If you know what came out this week, you know what it is. Right, the big notable book that came out this week. And yeah, so it's a very short show this week. At least I hope so. I don't know. The Splatoon Direct is 30 minutes, and I probably will be pausing it, so I will probably talk about it for like an hour. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Here we go. Splatoon Direct. And yeah, I guess let's get started. Should be loud enough. I hope it's loud enough.
This is Splatsville, in the heart of the Splatlands. Despite its old-fashioned appearance, it's seen enormous growth in recent years. It's also the hottest new place for Inklings looking for things to do. Oh, hello everyone. Hope you're all staying fresh. I almost forgot about introductions.
You think they're going to steal the Zapfish again?
Squid Research Lab.
I legitimately think they are going to steal the Zapfish again.
We're fascinated by what these Inklings can do. They can splat ink in kit form.
So right now we're just starting off with some basic detail that, you know, if you've never played Splatoon before, well, hey, here's some information. God, my computer's getting old.
We'd like to share some new findings on these Inklings.
I saw a gaming laptop on sale today. I think it was Wario 64, and I was like, should I?
For the Inklings also applies to the
Alright, I don't know. I've been thinking about it recently, because my computer's getting up there in age.
First, Turf War. Get styling with some fresh fashion, and get inking with even fresher weapons. Naturally, in a place called Splatsville, turf war battles are the locals' favorite pastime. 2 teams of 4 will ink for 3 minutes. The
So
team that inks the most
that's
in their color,
this is
in
all
other words,
basically the
claims
same,
most
right?
turf,
That's how turf war
wins.
works.
Now, that's not all inking is for. Ink walls to swim up. Or get sneaky and hide in ink to splat opponents.
Yep.
The more ink you spread, the bigger the advantage you'll have in battles. Whoops! If you're out of ink, submerge in it to refill. New techniques like the squid surge to swim up walls in a single burst. And the squid roll to jump out of ink while simultaneously turning around have also been spotted. Oh, while it's glowing like this, the move also slightly repels ink from opponents.
So yeah, this is our first new thing, the squid roll and the squid... Oh gosh, what did they call it just a second ago? The wall one. Let me see. Squid surge and squid roll. If you notice, the squid surge also has a glow when you get up to the top of the wall, so it might also have those invincibility frames. I don't know if it's full invincibility or just like 50% reduced damage. It just says it repels ink. That makes me think invincibility frames, but we kind of don't know at the moment. But I'm assuming they both might have it. This is one of the new things, right? This is one of the new gameplay elements. And I actually do like it. I think the idea of adding these roll and this surge... We actually did... When the release date trailer... In the release date trailer for this game... I think they showed off the roll, if I remember correctly. They didn't really talk about it, but they showed it. But so we now have the roll. We had speculated about the invincibility frames. This is now the confirmation of that, though. And we might have also known about the surge... but they had just never talked about it before. Like, it was, like, the role was pretty obvious in the trailer. You know, where they did the whole 3 minute of turf war. I do like this. I think these are new and interesting moves. Again, going into Splatoon 3, and especially this Direct, my whole thing is I want this to justify this game's existence. Because so far, everything I've seen of this game is just... oh, it's Splatoon 2 again, or Splatoon 1 and 2 fused together, which, again, technically that kind of is what it is. But right, I want more of that. Because this game, even though it is Splatoon 3, gameplay-wise, it seems to be more like the first game than the second game. That's very... and why I'm saying that is it comes down to the specials. A lot of the... like, Splatoon 2 basically redid all of the specials. Not a single special returned. In this game, they brought back the specials from Splatoon 1 and just changed them a little bit. Right? So instead of the killer whale, you have the mini killer whales. Instead of the giant missile, you have the 3 smaller missiles. They did bring back the Booyah Bomb. That is a special from Splatoon 2 that's back in Splatoon 3. But right, for the most part, this game reminds me a lot more of the first game than it does the second game. When it comes to stages, most of the stage, a lot of
the move also slightly repels ink from opponents.
and see, it's that slight repel.
We've discovered where these turf war battles will take place. Stages confirmed for the Splatlands include Scorch Gorge, Eeltail Alley, Mincemeat Metalworks, and Undertow Spillway. There seem to be other stages as well.
So yeah, those are 4 brand new those are the 4 new stages to this game that I think we already knew about. We already knew about those 4 stages. This is, I think, new to this Direct. This Hagglefish Market.
Hagglefish Market.
Yeah, this is brand new to this game.
With street vendors. The stuff here looks fishy, though. Several stages from Greater Inkopolis also return. Museum del Fontino.
So this was in the first Splatoon, not in the second one.
Courtyard of this modern museum. Take special note of the rotating wall. Hammerhead Bridge.
This was also in the first game and not the second one. And I kind of forgot about that because I don't remember playing this stage. I legitimately have no memory of Hammerhead Bridge. But yeah, it was in the first game. Same thing with this one.
A luxury resort in Greater Inkopolis.
I want to say the art studio was like the last stage added to the first Splatoon. That sounds right in my head.
Afterward, so don't forget to splat 'em. Including the state.
And then Inkblot Academy, I think, was Splatoon 2. Sturgeon's Shipyard was Splatoon 2. Oh shit, was that in the... I think that was only in Splatoon 2. I don't think that was in the first one. Mako Mart was definitely Splatoon 2. And Wahoo World, I want to say, was also Splatoon. I want to say these are all... So we've got 5 Splatoon 3 stages. What is that? 3 Splatoon 1 stages and 4 Splatoon 2 stages. That seems to be the balance.
Stages you see here, a total of 12 away.
And so 12 at launch... That doesn't seem like a lot, really, especially because Splatoon does the 2 stages at a time rotation thing. Like, I don't know, but if they're adding a new stage like every month, they'll slowly add up. It's just, it's one of the, again, I want this game to justify its existence. So going from however many stages are in Splatoon 2 back down to 12, that kind of sucks. Splatoon 2 had that same problem. It went from however many stages were in Splatoon 1 back down to like 8 or whatever. But at least this game doesn't have the problem with weapons. Again, they'll talk about it here in a second.
More stages will be added.
That's the apartment complex from Splatoon 1. I don't remember what it's called, but it was also not in Splatoon 2, and that's a new stage, the Desert Temple.
Free post-launch updates. Now, let's get into the inky essence of battles. Weapons. First, it appears that all the basic weapons from previous games will be available.
So, that's nice. Because one of the big problems Splatoon 2 had was, like, the game launched, and not all the weapons were available. And, like, even, it was something even as simple as, like, if you went to play the story mode of Splatoon 2, you could get the hero umbrella. But yet, in the default, like, online mode, the umbrella didn't come to the game until, I want to say, like, 6 weeks after launch. Maybe even, like, 2 months. It was a while. Like, you could not play the umbrella on... You could play the umbrella in the story mode, like, at least a month before you could play it online. It was just really weird, and the decision didn't really make sense. Especially with, like, that, right? Especially with the umbrella, one of the 2 new weapons. Because, yes, but... And, yeah. So that was just weird. It's cool to see that, no, all the weapons are here by default. That's really nice. That is a really good change.
On top of that, Splatland-specific weapon types, such as the bow-like stringers.
This is not a weapon I will ever be able to use, but I think it's a good addition. This is interesting. I like... In theory, I like the brushes, but I've never been good with them. But I want to give this a shot. I don't think I'll be good at it, but I think it's interesting.
As expected, it's powerful as a long-range attack. But the charged slash at close range is also quite devastating.
So they showed off the wiper here. On Twitter, they also showed off one called the Splatana Stamper or something like that. It was something like that. And it's a ink stamp. So there are other types than just that.
Let's dive into the weapons that can help you claim even more turf. Special weapons. As the name implies, these are special kinds of weapons that can be unleashed after filling up the gauge from inking turf.
So yeah, like this is just a new version of the killer whale from the first game. The crab robot is just a new version of the Kraken. Right? There's a lot of stuff that's like the other game.
A fridge appears. You'll find in-game beverages stored inside. These have a variety of effects, like momentarily increasing speed.
Okay.
They come in packs of 4. So take one.
So it's a support weapon, or a support special, but it does require, like, You have like in Splatoon 2, you have shields, which are nice because you know it supports everybody on the team no matter where you are. That, however, while it supports everyone on the team, it's location specific. So, interesting.
This is the Wave Breaker. When activated, it'll unleash waves around the area. It'll also mark an opponent's location and cause damage.
It's nice that it causes damage, but it can be jumped over, so yeah.
Finally, the Reef Slider. Build up power.
I love the Akira slide. Right, how it does the
the
Akira slide.
Once the attack ends, it'll explode.
This one looks fine.
And damage the surrounding area. Familiar special weapons
And
like
Tentamissiles from Splatoon 2.
Inkjet,
Inkjet.
Ink Storm,
Inkstorm. I almost said Rainmaker.
Ultra
So,
Stamp.
so there's a little bit from Splatoon 2 in
And
here.
Booyah Bomb will also make
Right,
their
like these are
rare
Splatoon
return.
2 weapons, and they've modified Splatoon 1 weapons. So it's just really
Special weapons
interesting
are paired with
how there
main
seems to be a
weapons.
little bit of
Find a
everything in this
combo
game.
that suits your splatting style.
Oops.
Shop here to get your tentacles on some fresh weapons. This is Ammonites, owned by the chatty horseshoe crab, Sheldon. The locals have praised him for his wealth of weapon wisdom and sophisticated selection. Instead of using in-game currency for purchases, you'll need these Sheldon licenses.
So this is something that's
Obtain
brand
them
new.
by leveling up through battles and by consistently using the same weapons. One Sheldon license can be exchanged for one weapon that corresponds to your level.
So I think the system's interesting, right? Like, but in the previous game, how it worked is, you know, as you level up, you got access to new weapons, and then you'd spend money to get those new weapons, right? And it was mostly pretty easy to get everything you wanted. These licenses, however, encourage you to play all sorts of different weapons, right? It's encouragement to be like, oh, well, you really like, oh, well, do you want to get everything? Well, you can, you just got to play every weapon. It forces variety, which I know some people don't like. Some people will find their favorite weapon, me, and they'll just stick to it. But no, I do like this. I think this is an interesting change that I'm actually fully on board with.
Oh, and just
At the
between
moment,
us, you can
theoretically.
exchange more
And the
Sheldon
fact that you can just,
licenses than
if you
normal.
exchange
It
more
appears
tickets,
he'll give you a weapon.
like, for, like, me personally, oh, well, I want my, Sploosh-O-Matic. Well, hey, I can just exchange 3 tickets to get my Sploosh-O-Matic early on, right? That's really nice as well. That it doesn't, like, force you to be it. That, right, because there are some people who are only ever going to use the weapons they want. So allowing them to access it at any point, and it doesn't appear like there's any scaling, like the fact that just breaking levels only cost, like, 3, that's not bad at all.
Then you like sooner than expected as a special reward. By the way, the Inklings and Octolings walking around town are pretty savvy about their fashion. Things like headgear, clothing, and shoes are just as important as weapons to staying fresh in Splatsville. Gear can be obtained in the shops around here. Each one is managed by an interesting shopkeeper, so let's drop in. This is not Couture, a headgear shop. You'll find an array of hats, masks, and glasses, so you can get ahead of the game. The laid-back Nautilus, Gnarly Eddie, and the energetic Nails.
Oops.
Snail sitting here, run the shop. This is the Clothes Boutique, Mana Wardrobe. It specializes in tops, like t-shirts and jackets. The shopkeeper, Gel Lafleur, might be a touch archaic with words, but this jellyfish has a keen eye for fashion sense. And finally, the shoe store Crush Station.
Look at
Get a
this guy,
variety of
Mr.
cool kicks
Coco.
here,
Oh my
from
gosh.
sneakers to sandals and even leather footwear. It's owned by Mr. Coco. He might look intimidating, but deep down,
Just a
he's
head
a nice
snap.
guy. Probably. You're more than welcome to pick out gear based.
So this works exactly right. All these gears and whatnot, they work exactly like how they do in Splatoon 2. I know some people, the first thing that comes to mind is Chucker Conroy, were disappointed that they brought in a ton of new shopkeepers, right? Because that was maybe potentially Splatoon 2's problem as well, is that, oh, well, you had all these good shopkeeper characters in the first Splatoon, and then for Splatoon 2, you just got rid of them and brought in some new ones, right? So it's kind of disappointing to see them doing that again, theoretically, but I personally don't mind. I think Splatoon has a great character design philosophy, and I'm always interested to see them do new things. And I think these 3 new shopkeepers all look great, right? I like this Mr. Coco. I like the hat sales person and the little snail. That's cute. So yeah, I'm all aboard with these new shopkeepers.
Probably. You're more than welcome to pick out gear based on its appearance, but they do come with abilities that can help you out in battle. Take run speed up, for example. It can increase your running speed. Or intensify action. This improves the squid roll and squid surge moves. There are even more abilities to discover. Plus, there's a fellow in Splatsville who can swap one ability with another.
So we got our man Merch from the second Splatoon, but he's all grown up. He's an adult now. I think there's a 5-year difference between this game and the second Splatoon, and I want to say there was a 5-year difference between Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 1. So yeah, he's grown up a lot over 5 years.
And you can add an ability of your choosing to your favorite gear.
So there, real quick, let's.
And you can add an ability.
Okay. I was okay. That was. I was trying to figure out what was breaking. Okay, that makes sense. So we can see, right, all these things. Splat deliveries are back. Re-rolls are back. You can scrub slots, of course. Boost stars. I think this might be new. And then, of course, ability chunks are back. So all of these things from Splatoon, I think the only new one is this one.
Of your choosing to your favorite gear. And if you save your favorite gear combinations as fresh as fits,
don't remember if this was in the first 2 games. I know you can save gear sets to Amiibo, but it looks like that's just in the default game now. So yeah, if you have combinations you like, well, hey, you can always have them now. So I guess that's nice and convenient.
Welcome to the lobby, a gathering spot for those seeking fresh battles. Turf war battles aren't the only things that happen here. You can also square off in anarchy battles.
So ranked battles have been renamed anarchy battles. And they seem to work a little differently now, right? You win 5 in Triumph, lose 3 and you're out. So it looks like, yeah, these battles now work a little differently, where you're now with groups of people for 5 battles, instead of whereas before it was just basically 1 at a time. That, in theory, means that if you get a good team, you can stick with that good team longer, whereas before, you could have some real problems. I know League battles kind of worked like this.
Hold the active zones in splat zones.
So splat zones, this looks mostly the same. Tower control looks mostly the same. This is different. So where, right, you take the Rainmaker to its destination, but as you can see, there are only about 20 there. So what's changed about Rainmaker is you now have to take it to checkpoints instead of to just the end goal. This is, at least in my guess, is that it's done so that way you don't have someone who just like rushes to the end and then just, wins. Because, yeah, like, let's say at the start of Rainmaker, your entire team gets swept and the enemy takes the Rainmaker. They can theoretically win in, like, 30 seconds. So this is to prevent that, which is nice.
Rainmaker. Or collect and throw clams to score in...
I can't tell if Clan Blitz looks exactly the same. It might be a little different. I know Clan Blitz tends to be people's least favorite mode, and I kind of get that.
Clan Blitz. Duke it out in these 4 modes, which are
Yeah, no, it looks like they're making some good changes to Rainmaker.
Want to take on a challenge solo? Select Anarchy Battle Series. But if you want to team up with friends, joining Anarchy Battle Open is...
So this Anarchy Open seems to be like your more traditional ranked battle, but it's done one at a time. Right, so that seems to be the more traditional, but hey, you can play it with friends now, so that's actually pretty nice, because before, if you wanted to play with friends, you had to go to League Battle, or you had to make a private room. At least I think you had to do that. Like, you couldn't have done something like this with friends. I don't know, maybe it's been a long time since I played Splatoon 2, and and every time I can think of Chugga Conroy playing with other people, he's playing in League Battles. So as far as I know, you can't do, like, default turf wars with friends. Maybe it's different now. But yeah.
You can also play private
and of course private battles
online.
are back.
Set battle modes and other options to your liking. Why not play with your favorite
cell
battle
phone
modes
voice chat is
alongside
back.
friends? Information about these game modes will be available soon on the game's official website.
I hope they add a new game mode. I know there was, in the code of Splatoon 2, there was a 8-ball rolling game mode that, eventually became the 8-ball missions in the Octo expansion. But I think an 8-ball, that would be interesting. I'm sure there's other ideas they've had. I want new ranked modes. Because I want to say Clan Blitz was the only ranked mode added in Splatoon 2. I would definitely love to see... There should have been one. I really do think they should have added at least 2 ranked modes. I want to see 2 in this one, but we'll see.
Now, let's talk about the features within the lobby. This is the...
But now you can do it in the lobby instead. And there's another feature that you used to be able to do in the lobby that you now do with someone else, which I'll point that out later.
Try out and get comfy with your weapons here.
The Stinger one-shots if you get a full charge. Wow.
It's also a great place to get all warm.
I don't know, someone who's really good at it is going to do some successful stuff. But for people who are bad at it,
Next up, ghosts. Online friends will appear as 3D holograms. Drop in on friends in the midst of battle and play alongside them.
That's neat.
You can also join up and start a battle on the same team.
Yeah, I like that idea.
You'll be able to see what your friends
I know,
are up to.
other fighting game, or other shooters have had this since the
appears that
Xbox.
you can also call out to
Not the
friends
Xbox
in lobby
One, not
and
the
invite
Xbox
them for
360,
battle.
the original
Why
Xbox.
not see
But
these features
Nintendo's
for
finally
yourself?
in 2001, let's say.
This is where you
I don't know, when did the
view
Xbox
battle
come out?
replays. It appears that it can somewhat recreate recent battles. Fast forward. Or skip to a certain part. Or even swap to another player's view. Incredible!
2001.
Not only can you
Okay.
rewatch battles as many times as you'd like, but there's even a share feature. We hope you'll use this handy tool to
So
help
yeah, you can
rank
upload them
up.
to YouTube now. Okay, whatever. I mean, that's how it's worked in Mario Kart forever now. Since
We'll
the Wii U.
analyze and discuss this space within the lobby.
Wait, real
Next.
quick. What's that vending machine? What's that gotcha machine? Huh?
We'll analyze and
It doesn't look... they don't... I don't think they talk about it during this thing. What's the gotcha machine? It might just be like random equipment, or like random stuff you can get, like for what they're about to talk about, but... Curious and
discuss this
curiouser.
space within the lobby, the locker room. Here, you'll find some fresh lockers. One is yours, and the others belong to players with whom you've recently played. As you can see,
So
you'll be
yeah,
able
you
to
can
place any
make your
acquired
own locker
weapons,
now.
gear,
It's not a
and
terrible
items to your
idea.
liking.
Honestly,
Slap
to
on
give you
some
some like
fancy
real
stickers.
customization stuff.
And modify your lockers.
I don't know, it just...
This is your space to
I think
express
this is like a fun little thing,
Customize
but
it
I don't think it
however
also
you'd like to
adds
show
that
off
much to
your
the
signature
game.
splatting style.
Like, I do wonder if you're like, oh, if you're displaying shoes right here, can you go into somebody's locker displaying shoes and like order a pair of their shoes, right? Kind of like how you can order gear from like recent players, right? It does make me wonder that.
Yes, items can be obtained at Hotlantis, a general store on the edge of Splatsville. Apparently, the store manager vanishes quite often, so instead, it's run by an artist named Harmony.
So Harmony actually is...
used to be a regular customer here.
So it talks about how Harmony is a customer. She is actually a character who was in previous Splatoons, technically. I want to say she's one of the band members. Like, so you know how Splatoon has like all of its music, right? Comes from like fictional in-universe like music groups, right? Like I know there's like, oh, it's Off the Hook and Squid Sisters. There's like tons of other stuff. And there's like all these fake album cover arts and whatnot. There's a whole bunch of shit. Harmony is from one of those. So she is actually a callback to either the first or the second game.
It's got an outlandish assortment of items. Why not show the store some love by grabbing some goods?
And yeah, this is where you buy stuff for lockers and all sorts of other stuff.
Plenty of other customization features as well. When battles start, these splash tags appear.
Splash tags.
They can be customized with
again,
banner,
I mean, I am a dedicated donut.
And title.
Works just like how it does in freaking Animal Crossing.
You can change the emote your character performs when you win a battle.
That's an obvious addition, right? Like changing the emotes.
Catalog, which will be available at Hotlantis. By using points
a fucking dab. Of course they put a dab in there. Oh, and it looks like those are the meal tickets, so maybe you can get them through this.
Earned from battles. You can unlock various items, like stuff for splash tags and seasonal gear. Following the game's launch, a new catalog is planned to be released every 3 months for 2 years.
So yeah,
sure
they have a So this is our sort of roadmap for this game. We know they'll be supporting the game for the next 2 years. I know roadmap is usually the mark of death. I know roadmaps usually fucking suck, and they do. But if I have one game that I think lives up to the roadmap, it's Splatoon. Splatoon said, the first game and the second game both said, hey, we're going to support this game for a set amount of time. And they did fully support the game for that set amount of time. When they say 2 years of support, I fully do expect that 2 years of support. Admittedly, the first year of support is probably already done. Right? Like, that first year of development is probably already finished when the game's launching, or at least the next 6 months. And, they're just going to slowly trickle it out. Because that's how the first Splatoon was. I'm assuming the second worked like that as well. I kind of don't remember. But I remember, like, there were certain things, like tower control, which I want to say came, like, 3 months after launch. It was already done in the game on launch day. So, yeah. But, yeah. I fully expected this. I know there was a discussion today about, Nintendo just specifically talking about Mario Golf and Mario Maker 2. About how Nintendo looked like they were going to come out and support these games, and then like 6 months later they had just completely dropped them. Right? And yeah, no, Nintendo does have especially with Mario Maker 2. Admittedly, the reason Nintendo dropped Mario Maker 2 was because they considered it a failure. Right? It sold like 4 million copies or something. But that wasn't enough for Nintendo. They wanted it, right? It was in the fucking Dead Space 3 scenario, where it needed to sell a ridiculous amount of copies. So yeah, they dropped full support for it after like 6 months. Mario Golf, same thing. Mario Tennis, same thing. I fully expect the same thing to happen to Mario Strikers, right? And it really is starting to piss people off, right? And you know what? They're completely right, because roadmap games kind of suck. And I know Splatoon, oh, well, yeah, and yeah. But if I ever had to be like, if I was ever in like one of those like debate things, like, who was it Gets Mad just did a thing, betas versus Giga Chads, right? If I had to do one of those for like Splatoon, for roadmaps, and I had to defend roadmaps, I would use Splatoon 2. Splatoon 1 and 2. They are the examples of how to make a good roadmap. They're the only examples I can think of. I mean, I want other stuff to be successful. I guess No Man's Sky? No Man's Sky didn't really have a roadmap, though. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Multiverses and its roadmap.
You see in each catalog. Phew. There's still a lot of info to share, but I need to take a little breather here. In the meantime, please turn your attention toward this. Introducing Table Turf Battle!
Oh. This is complete. Okay, so first of all, this is completely random. But I kind of like that. Because if you remember in the first Splatoon, there was like basically a doodle jump ripoff game that you could play while waiting, right? Like between rounds. So this is, and then Splatoon 2 had like a dance mini game that I legitimately don't know if I ever played because it was kind of out of the way. And then it had it had a claw machine that we thought was going to come in like an update that they then never added, and there was just a broken claw machine. So this is the replacement to that, to doodle jump and the dancing mini game, right? But it visually, this card game reminds me of the dice dungeon monsters from Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, where they laid out the dice and it made the special shapes to like move the monsters around. There's a whole Jay-Witz video on it if you want to go check that out, where he actually like played the game in like tabletop sim and whatnot. Really fascinating stuff. But yeah, this reminds me of the Dungeon Dice Monsters. But it's basically like a card game equivalent of Turf Wars, as you'll see. I don't know, admittedly, I'm not super interested in this, especially after playing King of Cards recently. And so I've kind of had my fill with card games at the moment.
Cards like this, and even ones like this, and there are over 150 cards to collect in
Gosh,
game.
that's a lot.
So build your deck and send your rivals packing.
Maybe this is what the gacha machine is?
Splatsville locals eagerly await your challenge. Table Turf Battle. Every player will be gifted an in-game starter deck.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I'll check it out, but I'm not super excited for it.
For a second there. That was Table Turf Battle, a 1v1 competitive card battle spin-off of Turf War. It appears you can play this at the Table Turf Battle Dojo in Splatsville. Be on the lookout for more details about Table Turf Battle in the future. And now, this!
Okay, so here we go into Salmon Run. Next Wave. Next Wave, Agents of Hate. Pretty decent Marvel comic. Right, I know some people have problems with it, but I thought it was fun.
This part-time gig is rumored to be a little fishy, but it pays pretty well. By defeating particularly ferocious creatures called boss salmonids, you can obtain valuable golden eggs. You'll need to collect and deliver plenty of golden eggs in order to complete this job. This time around, we've confirmed some new types of boss salmonids, so let's share our findings.
I really hope the one in the top left corner, the missile one, God, I hope there's an easier way to kill it. Because it's honestly, I can deal with all the boss salmonids, but the missile one is the worst fucking one. Because you can only kill it with bombs, or I want to see if there's like one special weapon that does damage to it. I don't remember which one. But God, I hate the missile one so much.
First up, the Slammin' Lid.
That's a fun name. And I'm excited for some of the new ones. The Tower, the Dolphin. And yeah, this, I think that's a fun one, right? People love this one.
The Big Shot.
Big Shot? Yeah, look at that. I don't know. I don't really see it. But people love that one.
Be prepared for powerful shock waves when they land.
Oh, and it's the wave thing. See, I like this. I like this pan one because you have to jump on it. That's fun.
one of the new King Salmonids. Unbelievable. It looks like they'll
Kozuna.
occasionally appear just before you complete the
I
job.
love this idea. The Godzilla Salmonid, that's super fun. They teased this in the They teased this at some point previously. That's fun. Egg cannon. I wonder if that's just during this boss fight or if you can do that at any point. Because that might actually be super useful if you're like backed into a corner. That actually sounds super interesting. And hey, look, it's the amusement park. Wahoo Land.
Big run. We believe this is when salmonids invade the city in which...
Okay, I don't know. This reminds me of in the Mario Kart 8, not the Switch version, but in the Wii U version, the battle mode didn't, like, there weren't any battle mode stages. Instead, the battle mode just took place on normal racetracks. That's kind of what this reminds me of, is right, the battle mode taking place on normal racetracks. Which, if you played the original Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, you know that was fucking terrible. So who knows, this might be fine. So the one thing they don't talk about in that is the fact that Salmon Run, Next Wave, will be playable for 24 hours a day. In Splatoon 2, you could only play it for like set periods of times on certain days, and you know you had to like keep a check on like when it was going to happen. On Twitter, I want to say they confirmed that no, Salmon Run will now be 24 hours. You know, kind of like normal Turf Wars. I'm sure like weapon and stage rotations will still happen, but yeah, Salmon Run's now going to be a 24-hour thing. Which, thank God, again, Nintendo is stuck in the year 2001. They don't understand how the internet worked, but hey, they're getting better. God, I wonder if this game's going to have cloud saves, right? And it actually saves your data to to online this time, because that's not how the first Splatoons worked, right? They don't do data like that. God, Nintendo's fucking stupid. Sometimes. Okay, like a good majority of the time.
Now, observe this manhole in Splatsville Square. This is actually the entrance to the home of the Octarians, the Inklings' longtime enemies. As Agent 3, the newest recruit of the new Squid...
Okay, so you're Agent 3, but your player character in Splatoon 1 was Agent 3. So I was really confused when I first watched this, and I was like, wait, but because you're not the same player character as Splatoon 1, right? It's a different character. Because your character in Splatoon 2 is Agent 4, Octo Expansion it's Agent 8. But no, it's because the character in Splatoon 1, it's been like, 10 years now, I think, is now called Captain 3. So yeah, your character was promoted to a captain at some point. And that's why Captain Cuttlefish is just Cuttlefish and no longer has the hat. So yeah, so like the second I saw this, I was like, wait, what? Agent 3 again?
Beak Splatoon. You'll do battle with the Octarian army.
Yeah, there you go. Agent 1, Agent 2, and then your Captain 3. Because, yeah, again, go play the Octo Expansion. If you've never played the Octo Expansion in Splatoon 2, go play it. It's so much fun. But it deals with that. And there are some things in this that make me really happy. Because this seems to be more like the Octo Expansion.
Whose members are covered in hair.
God, I'm going to be really annoyed if the boss is DJ Octavio again.
Small Fry,
that's going to be stupid.
Many stages, each one full of twists.
So my first thing that I like is you have 3 attempts, you have 3 lives, and as you can see, you have no weapon, but you just have Small Fry, right? And you'll notice that, right? Oh, this stage uses this weapon. This stage uses this weapon. That's how the Octo Expansion worked. And it played better. Because in the story mode for Splatoon 2, you could basically use whatever weapon you wanted. More or less. So, there was DJ Oct... Oh, wait. Real quick. You can see right here, they jump out of the gate. That's how it works in the Octo Expansion. So, again, the more this plays like the Octo Expansion, the happier I am. Because the Octo Expansion was way better than the default story mode of Splatoon 2. At least in my opinion.
What awaits the Inklings and Octolings in the end?
So we see DJ Octavio again. But the fact that they're showing him right here, and I don't think we've seen a single boss for this story mode yet, I really hope DJ Octavio is the first boss. And right, like, because all the other Octarians we've seen so far have had like fur, right? And it's the return of the mammalians. So I really hope this is DJ Octavio is like the game's first boss, and the rest of the story is kind of like his redemption arc, because the villains are obviously mice. Spoiler alert. Like, I don't know anything about the game, but I'm gonna call it right now. The villains are mice. Like, that's the mammal. But I hope the story mode doesn't end to like the Octarians ever being a threat, because they're kind of boring, honestly. There's so much more you could do. Even just having the main antagonist be mice would be more interesting. But nope, we're doing Octarians again. Well, you can never win. Yeah, I really hope he's the first boss.
Finale of this splat-tastic saga.
And they're calling it the finale, so hopefully it will be.
We're back in Splatsville. From here on out, we'd like to talk.
Again, I just don't like the story mode of Splatoon 2. The Octo expansion was so much better. Oh my gosh.
Talk about other features that'll help you enjoy your splatting escapades even more.
It's not like I hated it or anything. It was kind of underwhelming. The mailbox is back. The mailbox was great. It was a great idea. I'm glad it's back. You know, it adds so much charm to the game. Miiverse may be long dead, but Wait, what was that?
Vertical illustrations will also
vertical.
Be
okay, that's new. I wonder if they would make it so that you could do it on your phone. That'd be interesting. Yeah, I'd be kind of interested. Like, just so that way you could draw it on your phone. I don't know. That seems like something that would make sense, but Okay, this stuff is back. These food and drink things. Though something I do want to point out, though. And something that, the one thing, so right, earlier I talked about, like, oh, well, we're getting rid of all these old, like, shopkeepers and bringing in new ones. And how I've actually been fine with that. I like some of these new shopkeepers. What I do not like, though, is these staff fish. Right? These freaking Rick and Morty ass looking motherfuckers. Right here. Right? Oh, God, what was his name in, Rick and Morty, the guy who's like, he's played by Taika Waititi. Do not develop his app. I don't remember the character's name, but right, it's freaking Taika Waititi. That's what these freaking ass fish look like. These staff fish, and I hate them. These staff, right there in the card game stuff, run by a staff fish. The food truck thing was run by Krusty Sean, the shoekeeper from the first game. Now it's run by a staff fish. And you'll see other things throughout the game that are now run by staff fish. I think that's just boring. Splatoon has such great character designs, but it feels like a lot of the characters, where they could put fun characters, they just put another staff fish. So I think that's boring, and I don't like that.
Food and drinks that'll help you in battles at the concession stand.
But no, these were something in Splatoon 2. They worked really well.
Communication to play with nearby folks.
They brought back the shoal for local multiplayer. I never used it.
Using photo mode, you can
photo mode's back. Okay.
Send photos to a smart device, or display them in your locker.
See, here's another staff fish. So recon mode was something that you did in the lobby. And it's the thing that has been replaced by the testing grounds in the lobby. So yeah, it's interesting that they moved it out, but whatever, doesn't really matter.
This is
Splatnet 3, so they brought back the app support. The app actually works pretty well, like all things considered. I never really used the voice chat stuff, but I thought the app stuff was fine. And getting that app-specific gear is really nice. I always recommend getting the app-specific gear.
Like Krusty Sean's Wonder Crust. Support this fellow's journey using ink point.
So I don't entirely know what this ink point thing is, but there was this thing in the Splatoon 2 app where you could see how much like you inked, like, oh, you inked the entire Pyramid of Giza, right? I'm assuming this kind of is gonna work like that.
Depending on the areas you inked during battles.
Yeah.
Or view history to take a trip down memory lane with your past ranks. You can also snag special wallpapers and more for your smart device. So be sure to grab them. It appears that Splatnet 3 will be available at launch via the Nintendo Switch Online.
It's good it's at
mobile app.
launch, because I could totally see them pushing it for a while. That is a very Nintendo
Next
thing
up,
to do.
Amiibo figures. Scan Splatoon series Amiibo at this spot in Splatsville, and voila! Saving your favorite gear.
So you can still
combinations
save
and
outfits to
precious bits will
Amiibo.
allow you to easily swap
That
outfits.
hasn't changed.
Additionally, it seems you'll be able to get special gear.
Amiibo
and
outfits
even
are
snap
back.
Photos together with Amiibo. And Splatoon 3 Amiibo in.
And we got, of course, Splatoon 3 Amiibo. I don't have the Splatoon 3, or the Splatoon 2 guy, girl, and squid. I do have all the other Splatoon Amiibos. I have Callie, Marie, Pearl. I have the default normal characters, the Octarians. And who knows, I might actually get these as well. I don't know. I kind of want to be done with Amiibo. But, yeah.
Coming.
Really, once we're done with the Smash Bros. Amiibos, which will hopefully be like a year from now, I'll be done with them forever. I know there are some regions that's selling a 3-pack with all 3.
This is scheduled for this holiday.
Also released this holiday. They're not coming out on the day the game comes out, but however, the Alex and Steve, the Minecraft Amiibos, are coming out that day, so yeah, on September 9th.
Now, let's talk about post-launch updates.
Okay.
As we mentioned a while ago, following the game's launch, a new in-game catalog will be released every 3 months for 2 years. New weapons will also be added around the same time as each catalog.
Part of me does hope we get more stuff outside of the catalog, especially with stages. Like, I want a new stage like every month, if not more often than that. 24 new stages, 2 years.
In addition,
That would be
X
nice.
Battle, available after attaining an extremely high rank in Anarchy Battle, and League Battle, where every 2.
It is interesting that it's not launched, because I think X Battle was like an update in Splatoon 2, but I'm surprised League Battle isn't at launch, because I think League Battle was at launch for Splatoon 2. I don't know, but at the same time, they kind of don't need it anymore, because Turf Wars and previously ranked battles, now Anarchy battles, can be played with friends. And like the thing that made League Battle special was that it was ranked mode you could play with your friends. And I never did I never got good enough to do X battles in Splatoon 2. I could get S ranks, but I could never get X ranks.
For this game, we're planning to add large
Paid DLC. Okay, again, I thought the paid DLC in Splatoon 2 was fantastic. The Octo expansion is great, and it looks like, and one of the things missing in this has been Pearl and Marina, so I'm totally down to see another story with them. That sounds like a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm all, I know, I know it's usually like a sin to talk about paid DLC before the game launches. I'm not too broken up by it, honestly.
More details
Like, it's still technically, I guess, a problem, but it's not like this game doesn't have a story mode, right?
Research report from the Squid Research Lab. Thank you for watching.
Oh, okay, wait, real quick. I do want to point this out.
For this
So,
game, we're planning to add
so just watch the
large-scale
Rainmaker real
paid
quick.
DLC.
This is what I was talking about with them changing Rainmaker.
More details will
Notice
come
how when
at a
he
later time,
plops it on
so
top of the
please
hill,
be on the lookout.
he loses the
And
Rainmaker.
now, I'd
That's
like to
part of
wrap
this
up
balancing with the
research report
Rainmaker.
from the Squid Research
That's,
Lab.
I like
Thank
the
you for
changes they're
watching.
making to Rainmaker. I don't know, we'll have to see how it works in practice, but I think that's really interesting.
Huh? Who are you supposed to be?
Okay, so I do want to point out, though, real quick before we get into these characters. The masks they're wearing, if you go back and look at the poster for the story mode, The Rise of the Mammalians, all 3 of their masks are in the story mode poster. So they probably will show up in that. That's just something people have noticed over the days. Alright, you know, I'd been waiting to see our rivals for a while now, and here we are. Deep cut. We have Frey, Shiver, and Big Man. So if you remember with Splatoon 2, when the idols were revealed for that game, a lot of people pointed out how big of a forehead Pearl had, and were like, oh, right, this character kind of sucks. Look how big her forehead is. And then people were like redesigning the character to look better and whatnot. It looks like Nintendo heard that response of people complaining about Pearl having a big forehead and just turned that shit up to 11 with Frey. Like, holy shit. And and yeah, it's fucking massive, man. And like, okay, so I've seen fan art of the character, not people trying to like fix the character, but just, you know, putting these characters in their own style. And literally, I think Frey, to make her look good, all you have to do, make her mouth a little bigger and move her eyes and nose up to like the center of her forehead. And she looks great, right? It looks fine. The problem is her entire face is at like her like eyes, nose, and mouth are at like the very bottom of her face. That's the problem. Is that her entire face is like scrunched down to the very bottom of her head. But if you like distribute it properly, it looks perfectly fine. Like, I don't think this is a design that needs to, like, the more I've seen this design over the past few days, the more I've like grown to like it. But it's just like a little change, just moving it up a little bit fixes like 90% of my problems with it. Cause yeah, they jumped the forehead up to fucking 11. It's all, the bangs don't help, obviously, like she has no bangs, and that's a real that was kind of the same problem with Pearl. And I like Pearl's design, right? Especially as time goes on, you spend a lot of time around these characters. They become more endearing. So, and I'm sure the same thing will happen with Frey. The more I play Splatoon 3, the more, you know, time you'll spend around her character, the more I'll grow to like it. But it's just like, it's so close to being like what I think is like a genuinely good design. Because I like her outfit, right? I think her shirt with the thing hanging over it looks good. I know some people don't like the basically parachute pants. I think they're fine, honestly. Okay, the shoes, she doesn't have shoes, but instead has like socks that are missing like toes, right? Like they're socks with like an open front, whatever. Right? I don't think it's a terrible design at all. It's just if you move that face up a little bit. Shiver's design is fantastic. Just, again, I know in the waifu wars, when it comes to Splatoon, there's always one that looks better than the other. At least in my personal opinion. Callie is worse than Marie, right? Marie is the better design. Marina looks better than Pearl, right? Even though, again, I love them both and I ship them hard. And these two, yeah, the winner is Big Man, obviously. Our big manta ray in the back. No, seriously, I think that's a fantastic design. But no, I like these idols. Yeah, I think Shiver's got a great design. I think Big Man's got a great design as well. If the M thing, like he's got like a, I don't, it's got a name, obviously. I don't know what it is because I ain't Japanese, and I'm assuming that's a Japanese thing. But his weird like band thing, right? Like the thing that goes down under his eyes and has like the little hat over him. That I don't really know about. Like I know that's to make him like stand out, but I don't know. The way it goes like under his eyes is a little weird. Other than that, I think Big Man's got a great design. I think Shiver's got a great design. As people have pointed out for both Shiver and Frey, their earring things, their ear piercing are shark teeth, which I think is fantastic. Right, that's a great thing. But yeah, it's just a little thing. If it's just a little thing for Frey, other than that, I think these are all great designs, and I'm sure they will grow on me. But God, that forehead, man. I mean, in some ways, I respect them for sticking to their guns.
I completely forgot to tell you about Deep Cut. They're an incredibly popular trio who host the Splatoon.
And I like that it's a trio this time. That's a nice change of pace. Yeah.
They provide information on battle stages, as well as other news bulletins.
Oh, it's interesting that Anarchy, they'll be
While we're on
different
the subject,
things.
The
Okay.
youngsters of Splatsville own sea cucumber phones. They can check the news while doing other activities.
Okay, one of the biggest, if you've ever played Splatoon 1 or 2, one of the biggest problems with the game is the fact that every time you turn on the game, you have to sit through 2 to 3 minutes of news bulletins before you can play it. Finally, they have fixed it, where presumably when you start up the game, the news bulletins will be up in the corner, and you can press the trigger if you want to watch it, but if you want to skip past it and ignore it, you can. Previously, you couldn't do that. Fucking finally. This is a change that should have been made in... Honestly, someone out there is going to say that this one change alone justifies this entire game's existence. I don't agree with them, but I get it. Because, yeah, the news broadcasts do kind of suck. And I don't... Again, there's a lot of great writing in them. Like, Pearl... Again, I really do like Pearl and Marina, and you got a lot of great writing from Pearl and Marina, their banter during the news broadcast. And the fact that we can now just skip the news broadcasts does make me wonder if I'm not going to like Frey and Shiver and Big Man as much as I do Pearl and Marina. Because those and Callie and Marine, of course. But, yeah, you know, because a lot of the charm comes through that. Hopefully the fact that I'm pretty sure they'll be in the story mode will hopefully make up for that. Yeah, because that's... the reason I keep highlighting Pearl and Marina is because they didn't get any character development like that until the Octo expansion, which was like a year after the game released. Whereas, you know, Callie and Marie are in the story mode of the first game. So, yeah.
Activities, as shown here.
But no, this is finally a great addition. Splatfest, of course, are back. We all knew this was coming, obviously. Gosh, look at Big Man. God, that fucking forehead. Oh my god. And I've seen some fan art that just takes it up to 11, man. I've seen some shit. Okay, it was completely frozen for me.
It's been confirmed that Splatfest will make a return.
Of course they will. And like, if everything's getting 2 years of support, 2 years of Splatfest makes sense.
Via battle. And
But
this
this is a change I love.
Teams to choose from.
3 choices of teams. This is, again, a lot of my talk has been, hey, I want this game to justify its existence. This is maybe one of those things that justifies this game's existence. The idea of 3-person Splatfests, because like there was in the Splatoon 2, they did like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splatfest, where it was like, oh, 1 week it was Leonardo versus Raphael, another week it was Donatello versus Michelangelo, and then like the winners of those then competed in the finals. Right, they basically had 3, right? So they've experimented with things like this before. And I've already seen, like, a bunch of suggestions for this 3-way Splatfest. Like, do the Pokemon starters for Gen 6, right? Quaxley, Fakoko, Sprigatito. I've seen a Fire Emblem one, right? Because you've got the 3 Fire Emblem colors right here. That also makes a lot of sense. So I feel like those are both great ideas, right? But we'll see what they do. I love this idea.
And this time around, there will be 3 teams to choose from.
Yeah, I think this is a great idea.
Splatfests consist of 2 halves. In the first half, teams will compete in 4v4 turf war battles.
I hope they do the color thing again, where like the colors of inks changes. But this, I love this idea as well. 3-on-3 match, right? Or a three team match. Great idea. I love this idea.
All players on the team currently in first place will start in the center of the stage. 2 players each from the second and third place teams will attack the first place team from opposite ends of the stage.
Yeah, this seems like a great idea. And the fact that this is also kind of objective based, as you'll see. Right, you're trying to collect that symbol in the middle. It changes things up. It's a combination of turf. This turned turf war into ranked mode, right? Because you've got the default turf mode, but then you've got these tricolor battles that are basically a ranked mode. I think this is a fantastic idea. I am genuinely like, yeah, this is the first like big thing in this showcase where I was like, yep, this justifies this gaming's existence. I think this is all around a great idea. Right? Just straight up saying it.
Okay, we're going to close out this presentation with an announcement from Deep Cut. Take it away.
Yeah, no, I'm actually really excited for this. I like that Big Man is basically Groot, right? He only says A, but, that's kind of funny. So, of course, we were all waiting for the global test fire, or whatever they called it. Because Splatoon 2 had 2 global test fires. The global test fire, and then the Splatfest test fire. Well, hey, look at that. We have a test fire. Splatfest test fire. August 27th is Saturday. Is it a week before the game comes out or 2 weeks? It is 2 weeks before the game comes out. Yeah, so it's 2 weeks before the game comes out. So yeah. And rock, paper, scissors. Makes sense. Again, I think this 3-way splat has tons of potential. So, yeah. Also, I will be going Team Rock. But normally, it's easy to align with the waifus. But in rock, paper, scissors, if you ever want to beat me at rock, paper, scissors, just do paper. Because I always go rock. Always. So I was going to go rock no matter what. So yeah. Because rock is the most superior in rock, paper, scissors. I used to love, there was a rock, paper, scissors 100. It was like this massive poster. I always used to have fun with that. I only ever used it once or twice. But it was a fun idea.
That's all we have to share today. Or not. And now, announcing the Splatoon 3
Oh, yeah.
Enter the
Okay.
Scotland's Invitational
So yeah, they're doing the
2022
tournament. Again,
This
that's
event
like
will
a
take
week
place
before
on
the game
September
comes
5th at
out.
PAX West. Some of
Whatever.
the top finishers from this summer's Splatoon 2 Inkopolis Showdown will head to Seattle and compete in North America's first ever Splatoon 3 Invitational. Follow the official Nintendo vs. Twitter account for updates. And to see more of our research findings as we uncover them, follow the official Splatoon North American Twitter account. We hope you'll have an incredible time starting September 9th.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
whatever. Okay, so at the end of that, I knew I was going to talk about that for an hour. What did I say? At the end of that, just some quick thoughts. Do I think this game has justified its existence? Has it made itself a separate enough entity from Splatoon 2? Or is it just like another Pokemon game or another Call of Duty game, right? Where it's exactly the fucking same. And, no, it hasn't. Just being completely honest. No, this game, it's basically just Splatoon 2, but with some nice quality of life improvements, changing up the battle mechanics a little bit, adding some new stages, removing a bunch of the stages, right? There are some there are some things I do like here, right? Another thing, I don't think they mentioned it in here as well, is with Sheldon. If you played Splatoon 2, there are actually, like, Sheldon weapons. And, like, you get more Sheldon... Like, there's this whole, like, Sheldon rank thing from... You know what? Give me a second. I'm gonna... I'm gonna go on Twitter real quick. But yeah, there's this whole, like, Sheldon weapon thing. Where, like, basically some of your save data from Splatoon 2 carries over. But overall, I definitely don't think this game has justified its existence. However, I am actually more excited for this game now than I was before. Right? Before, I was just kind of like, I haven't really... Like, I was always waiting for that Battle Royale mode, right? And I still think that's a good idea. I will still stand by that. That would have justified this game's existence. But even without that, I definitely am more I'm definitely more interested now than I was even just like a week ago. Again, three-way turf wars I think are a great idea. Some of these other things, right? It looks like a good game, right? I figured it was going to be a good game. But yeah, it definitely has done its job justifying its existence more than it had a week ago, I guess. Right? I'm definitely more interested in it now than I was a week ago. I still think it's got problems, right? And I still don't think it's fully justified its existence. But I'm definitely way more interested now. I mean, I was going to pick it up regardless. So here we are on the Splatoon Twitter. Game comes out. Research. These sword-like implements can fire a horizontal stash of ink quickly. Look at the Splatana wiper. Splatana. So yeah, we got the Splatana stamper right here, which is an ink stamp, right? It's like an ink stamp that like rotates and whatnot. So that's interesting. That's one of the other new weapons. Or, it's another Splatoon thing. I swear there was more information in this. I went to the Splatoon Twitter account. They talked about it somewheres. Just trust me on that. Somewheres they talked about right, these like Sheldon rank things. I thought it was here. I guess not. But I know for a fact they talked about it somewheres. That you can you carry over some like save data or whatnot that like allows you to like level up quicker or whatever. I don't know, that's a cool thing for like Splatoon 2 players, right? It's like you're not starting from like 0.0 or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, so even though I'm still not fully justified in this game, I'm definitely more interested in this game now than I have been, right? Like, I was going to play it regardless, but I liked what we saw here. I definitely think this game is missing something, and I do, like I said, I hope, because I know this new Turf War stuff is basically like a brand new ranked mode, right? But I really do hope we get some new ranked modes and whatnot. I don't know. I still feel like there's a lot more that could be done. For as much as we know about the story, I also feel like we know very little at the end of the day. But I definitely knowing it plays more like the Octo expansion definitely makes it more interesting. But we'll just have to wait and see. The game comes out in less than a month now, so it's right around the corner. And you better believe we will be playing it here on stream. Alright, let's move on. So, real quick, Kirby Dream Buffet. This finally got an overview trailer, so let's just watch this as well since we're right here. Oops.
Get rolling, eating.
So yeah, it's Kirby's Gourmet Race, but also Kirby Fall Guys.
One day, the Dream Fork suddenly shrinks Kirby. To enjoy this world of
Oh, he got shrunk. What's his first thought? Cake. Must eat all the cake. That's so fun.
Eat the most strawberries across 3 game types and aim to become the biggest Kirby.
Oh, look at those honky tonk pachonka chonks.
The first game type is Race. Eat strawberries.
It's weird that there's other just like Waddle Dees running around as well.
The bigger your Kirby is,
like, I find that just kind of right. Like, that makes me think that at least in this mode, you'd be able to play against other people online.
Eating these will give Kirby
I love these copy food abilities because they take tornado, but they make it a cupcake.
Or easily slip through walls with jelly.
I don't know what jelly's actually supposed to be. High jump, right? They took high jump and made it into like a spring like Mario Galaxy. There's a hot pepper one. Right, the fire ability, but it's a hot pepper. That's just fun. Making Kirby abilities into food is just a fun idea.
Or be hidden in boxes. Who knows where they'll appear? Try to get as many as you can. Finally, put your strawberries on the line in the final showdown, Battle Royale.
Honestly, this final Battle Royale part, weirdly enough, in like some ways, reminds me of the final race in City Trial. Oh god, it's not called in the Kirby racing game, Airstrike. Right, it kind of reminds me of like that, in like a weird way. Was it called City Trial?
Costumes can change Kirby's appearance.
Oh, Kirby Burger. I love you, Kirby Burger.
And play with your preferred
I like the color variations from Squeak Squatter back. That's good.
Collect character treats featuring characters from across the Kirby series and use them as a pedestal at
These treats remind me. Have you ever seen the candy pulling TikTok, where it's like an Australian like candy pulling thing? That's what those treats remind me of.
Depending on how many strawberries you have overall. Pass a Joy-Con controller.
So it looks like there aren't like
local co-op.
There aren't like a crazy amount of stages, but there aren't there aren't only like 5. It's right. It's more than 0, but less than like a million.
4 players around the world.
I haven't really talked. There was a food challenge in Squeak Squad. That's where the strawberries come from, actually. Some of like the strawberry with like the 5 on it. That's from Squeak Squad.
Kirby's Dream Buffet, available August 17th, only on Nintendo Switch.
So that is Thursday? Oh wait, I'm still in September. Oh, that's Wednesday. Okay. So the game launches in a little less than a week. I want to say it's $15 if I remember correctly. I want to say they did give the price point, and yeah, it was like $15. It might be 10, but I want to say it's 15. That's not a lot. That's not like a crazy amount of money. But yeah, I have talked before about how I have bought indie games for $15 that I've only played for two hours and gotten my full money's worth out of. So if I can buy this game for $15 and just have a lot of fun for like 2 hours, then it'll have been worth it. I hope to get more time out of it than that. I haven't bought it yet. I don't even know if I'm gonna buy it at launch. I might wait a little bit because Cult of the Lamb, but and I might pick that one up rather. But yeah, I'm not like super like, right. $15 is a fine price point, right? They could have made it 30, knowing that Nintendo's made. I mean, Nintendo's gonna try to sell everybody 1-2 Switch for fucking $60. So, yeah, they could have they could have charged more for this. $15 is a perfectly fine price point. I'm actually very interested in this. This looks like a lot of fun. Yeah, no, I'm all aboard for this idea. Let's go, Kirby. Kirby Dream Buffet. Yep. Yeah, I just real quick, we got a trailer for that. Again, I think Game Explains this week put out a thing talking about like Nintendo's indirect, where like for this entire month it feels like Nintendo's just been like, you know, what? Okay, whatever. Yeah, Nintendo's been doing like right. They didn't do a Nintendo Direct, so Game Explained was like, oh, they did an indirect, where every day they put out, right, where like once or twice a week they put out some new information. And yeah, I feel like that's fairly accurate to describe how Nintendo's been doing things. Yep, yes I do. Alright, let's switch over. Oops, nope, didn't want to do that. I accidentally hit the wrong thing. Let's close that. Let's close that. Let's minimize that. I know we've been doing Minecraft this past week. We're doing Fall Guys today. You know what? Screw it. I don't really want to set up anything else. And right, like we play Minecraft for like maybe half an hour, and I'm sure we could get something done in that time, but also we can't get much done in that time, so yeah, okay, whatever, we'll figure it out. Oh, shit. Alright, oh, God. I still don't know why the PS4 is darker. I've been meaning to look it up, but I have yet to figure it out so far. Come on. I don't know why I don't have volume. I hello? There should be music. Wait, what? Do we have music now? I hear something. I'm going to assume we have music now that it's working. Huh. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna hope it's working, that there's sound and everything, because I honestly don't know. Okay, there's a Sonic thing. Completed season pass. Look at those Sonic costumes. Again, I hate these fucking crown points. Especially when stuff that used to be free cost money. I'm surprised, wasn't this part of the season pass? I swear that was part of a previous season pass. Okay, whatever. Let's just do gotta go fast. I don't know. Sure. Okay, so WIBE for today. Like I said, I have not played. I wanted to play Curse of the Lamb today. I just didn't get around to it. Just straight up, I was going to. My original plan was to spend all day playing Curse of the Lamb, and then that just straight up didn't happen. So, yeah, I have.